And it's been 100 days since Singapore saw its first patient. How would you describe these 100 days?
Well, I think it's been a big learning curve. The fundamental problem that we have is that it's a novel virus, so none of us have immunity against it. We have to think about this on a long-term basis, because even if we are able in different countries to control viral spread, we are all ultimately susceptible to infection. And when the world reopens, as it will have to, imported cases will return, and therefore populations become exposed again. And therefore, I think we have to think about this as a long-term issue and not just as a short-term one. I think the 100 days have been very, very valuable in terms of learning about the virus, the way it spreads, and the way it is contained. So one of the important learning points is that safe distancing itself within the community is very helpful, because it prevents spread within social gatherings, within workplaces in the community. But it doesn't really work as well in certain circumstances, as we've seen in special communities like foreign worker dorms, in construction workplaces where workers from many different companies and sites work together. So these are all situations where just applying rules of social distancing might not be as effective. And therefore, I think one of the things that we've learned in the last 100 days is we need to take one step beyond social distancing to what may be called safe management. Safe management. In other words, each of us, whether we are in organizations, institutions, companies, particularly larger ones with more complicated operations, we really have to look at the sources of risk of transmission within the work that we do, with the partners that we have, through the way in which we deploy our colleagues, and to actively take steps to mitigate these risks. So if we combine safe distancing, which works very well for community protection, for social gatherings, and in many workplaces, and we combine it with safe management by corporations, organizations, and companies, then I think we'll have a more robust way of reducing the risk of outbreaks from becoming large.
Right, and this would have to be the new normal till a vaccine comes into the picture?
I think so. I think until such time we have enough immunity amongst the population, hopefully through a vaccine, then I think these measures will be necessary to prevent and to limit the extent of spread through this viral infection.
Okay, and maybe the final question for you is, looking ahead to the next 100 days, are you optimistic that things would be a little bit more normal?
Well, I think the good news is that we are seeing examples all around the world that the viral outbreaks can be contained. That's good news. They can be contained, and if you contain them well, the health system need not be overburdened. And in Singapore, we are thankful and fortunate that our health system has not been overburdened, that our mortality rates have been low so far, and that we have not had a lot of severe illness amongst the younger foreign worker population. So that's the good news. The bad news is that this containment requires a very, very stringent actions, including shutdowns, circuit breakers, which interrupt the normal pattern of living, interrupt economic activity. And so I would say in the next 100 days, all of us are searching for ways to reach a new equilibrium, a new balance where we can still keep viral spread under control. We may not be able to completely get it down to zero, but we keep it well under control. But in exchange, we are able to function much more normally, and the economy can function more normally, but with a lot more precautions in place. So that's the new equilibrium that all of us are searching for. And I'm hopeful that in the next 100 days, we will be able to learn, to pilot, and to institute new ways that will allow us to gradually do this better. But
Thank you, Prof.
I would say one final point here, that we must never be complacent. As you've noted, this is a very smart virus. It still has many tricks up its sleeve, and therefore we have to be really very vigilant. We have to respect our enemy, and therefore we have to continually keep our guard up.